Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing great, and that you're all having a fantastic day. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Once again, there hasn't necessarily been a narrative shift per SE. Everyone's looking really deep into the future for Bitcoin right now and where they think things are going to go. It was always speculated that in the future, we'd have more money in the cryptocurrency space. This led us to around 2019 when the discussion became that institutions were looking to get into the space. The only ones who could save us were the Gemini twins and Coinbase with their institutional methods and custody solutions, much of which we had never heard about within the cryptocurrency space before. The topic now, and has been for a while, is ETFs. ETFs, for whatever reason, as they are a securitized version of Bitcoin that can be traded on stock exchanges, are constantly being touted as the way that institutions are going to get into the cryptocurrency space. That kind of leads us to where we currently are. I'll give you my idea on it simply because it's a bit, yeah. In a recent statement on Twitter, Hunter Horsley, CEO of Bitwise Asset Management, shared his expectations for the future involvement of wealth management funds with spot Bitcoin ETFs. By the end of this year, Horsley predicts a significant shift in the investment landscape, one that could catch many by surprise regarding the level of adoption of spot Bitcoin ETFs. As we've already seen since the beginning of this year, the adoption level of Bitcoin and the adoption level of Bitcoin ETFs has skyrocketed. It's not as much in the news anymore, but even Bitcoin futures are doing exceedingly well. I mean, on the basis of they look like they're doing around like $60 million per day across multiple different platforms. But once again, compared to the numbers of $500 million per day for the spots, the futures aren't really making it into the news. But there are a lot of people who are still dealing in Bitcoin futures, and it's picked back up quite a lot since we saw zero trading volume on a number of platforms, and also since the introduction of the ETFs, which have kind of more or less, I don't want to say the term, taken the world by storm, but you understand. For those of you who do not know, we spoke about this a day or two ago, and I don't know how we got here. A lot of people, as I told you in a lot of websites I was looking at, were under the bizarre assumption that Bitcoin was going to $1 million a day and a half after the halving. No, that's not how it works, and that's not a thing. It always takes time, as everything else does. The idea is, as the halving happens and the general public and people within the cryptocurrency space understand the actual extra scarcity of Bitcoin, this causes them to then jump into the market. The problem being is that as there are not enough Bitcoins already for the masses, for 8 billion people on the planet, any kind of buying pressure will cause upward pressure in Bitcoin's price. When Bitcoin begins to pass by certain psychological levels, it triggers something in people for whatever reason, and this begins the entire FOMO phase, if you will. If Bitcoin goes to $74,000 and hits a brand new all-time high, it's because of interest that's in the market. Bitcoin falls back down for whatever reason, people look crazy, and interest also falls down with it, as opposed to understanding that it's going to go back up to that price. When Bitcoin hits $70,000, people go, well, it's not back at the previous all-time high, and you'd be shocked because people will still refuse to buy it, literally mentally waiting for it to re-hit the numbers where it was before. When it hits the number where it was before, and we get some people come back into the market, Bitcoin goes to $80,000, and then the psychological level becomes, well, it's not at $90,000. Why the skepticism is always there in tons of financial markets, it's always there. I've told you before, I watch a lot of TV shows, especially about real estate and all these other things like that, and there's one in particular. It's a fun show, if you will. It's a show from the UK. It's called Location, 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 and they have a lot of episodes, I mean, at least before in the past, where they were showing people these homes, and the guy was like, you know, the price of this house went down by 10%, maybe it'll fall a bit more, and people won't buy until it becomes out of their range. It's just something weird about people in finance, and it happens also in the cryptocurrency space as well. When Bitcoin ends up hitting $100,000 per coin, this triggers a shock in people because they realize the ridiculousness of their ways, and they go, I could have been buying when it was $17,000, $27,000, $34,000, $55,000, $75,000. I'm going to start buying now. And the other psychological, there's tons of psychological levels in this space, but the issue becomes when one Bitcoin is worth more than a home, a property, a house, a condominium, People begin to flood in a lot more simply because they realize or think that they've missed out, not realizing that Bitcoin is going to millions of dollars per coin. So, the conversation now lies around, we know that money's in the space, but it's not a lot of money, as it is believed that based off of every monetary supply. So there's an M1, M2, and an M3 monetary supply. It is believed that cumulatively, that there are quadrillions of dollars on the planet, and we've seen a fraction of that money enter into our market. The idea is that eventually, as Bitcoin continues to rise in value, comparative to other assets, for those of you who were not here, the US dollar, the world reserve currency, has already lost 99% of its value to Bitcoin. 99%. Bitcoin's been around for 15 years. The idea is that as other currencies we see right now begin to fall and hyperinflation ensues and continues, Bitcoin's value will continue to go up, especially if we end up seeing any kind of interest rate cuts, which people are still expecting over the course of this year. People assume it's going to be 2 or 3 interest rates still over the, we'll see if that actually ends up happening. The generalized idea is that while we see money in the space, there's still a lot waiting on the sidelines to see if this new thing called Bitcoin is actually going to work. And it's really weird, especially as a major company, to have access to all of this data. If me and you have access to this data, I wonder what it's like for a company that has access to billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, to still stand on the sidelines and go, I'm not convinced. If you told me that there was, I don't care. I hope you're all doing well and having a fantastic day. Let's dive straight into it. Lately, the cryptocurrency news has been getting weirder by the day. Over the past couple of weeks, it feels like there have been very few normal days. There's a lot of interesting stuff floating around. One of the hottest topics today revolves around Satoshi Nakamoto, the mysterious figure behind Bitcoin. Satoshi's identity has been shrouded in mystery for years. Some believe it's a group of people known as the cypherpunks, while others think it's a single individual. The origins of Bitcoin are intertwined with the desire to create a decentralized payment system. We've got some exciting government news to discuss. However, definitely recent developments have added Bitcoin's price has been looking quite promising over the last 24 hours. An early Bitcoin contributor has shared a collection of previously undisclosed emails from Satoshi. These emails shed light on Satoshi's vision for Bitcoin as a medium of exchange rather than just an investment vehicle. This aligns with Satoshi's original goal of creating a currency for everyone, not just the wealthy. But the story doesn't end there. Claims of being Satoshi Nakamoto have surfaced over the years, with individuals like Craig Wright stepping forward, albeit without conclusive proof. Amidst all the speculation, it's crucial to remember the core principles behind Bitcoin and its potential to revolutionize finance. Beyond Satoshi's emails, there's also news from South Korea, where cryptocurrency transactions have soared in the first quarter of this year, surpassing those in US dollars. This resurgence echoes the cryptocurrency boom of 2017 when South Korea and Japan dominated the market. Despite regulatory challenges, the demand for Bitcoin remains strong, especially in regions facing economic instability. As Bitcoin's value continues to rise, it's essential to recognize its potential to empower individuals worldwide. So, while the headlines may focus on price fluctuations and institutional investments, it's crucial to remember the broader impact of cryptocurrencies on global finance. As we navigate these exciting times, let's keep an eye on the bigger picture and the transformative potential of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon. Take care and have a fantastic day, wherever you are.